Hey, what's up, y'all? Kurt here. Tarvon, let me just get this adjusted a little bit. How's it? Ooh, got some shiny head right there. Look at that. Hey, but check this out. So, hey, my name is Kurt Lieberman. Thank you today for joining us. This video and blog post is all about cleaning your AR. Hey, you may be your first time buyer. That's the reason why you're looking at this. Or, hey, you've bought one and you took it to the range and now you know you got to clean it and you're, oh no, what do I do, right? When you look at the gun itself, it can look very intimidating. It can look very confusing, and I'm here to tell you that it's not. It's actually really, really easy to clean. It is one of the easiest guns on the market, if you ask me, to clean, maintain, and upgrade. The only other gun I would say is maybe a Glock. There's very few moving parts. It's very simplistic in design. And it's only a couple steps to get it open and get it out and spread out. So let's talk about that, right? So what is your first step? First step is your tools. What tools do you need? And there's 1,000 options, and I provided some in the blog to maybe help you out and understand. But really, at the end of the day, most of everything that you really need, if you want to, can be found at the home. It's as simple as that. There's only one really or couple things that you may need to buy. But if you really wanted to do it on the cheap or with frugality until you get better and know what you need and how you need it, it's really easy to do. First of all, a rag. The rag, all you really need is a t-shirt. I use a t-shirt all the time and using it for years, but you can use a paper towel. The key is, though, with the paper towels and things like that, is they do have fibers that come off and they can get stuck with the oil onto the thing. So you got to be cognizant of that. But typically, if you got an old t-shirt and you just cut it up and you use it, perfect. You can use it for everything from wiping the gun down itself in a bigger manner, or getting into, cutting little strips and getting into the side of the barrel to wipe the oil and stuff out of there. All sorts of stuff. Second, you're going to need is a brush, right? And so there's a lot of options around that brush. So this is the example of a brass brush that you would use with a cleaning rod, right? So you can buy these cleaning rods individually. You can buy them as a kit, which I'll show you here in a second. They adjust in size depending on your barrel length. You can add more of these links. You would take this brush, attach it to the end of this, and that would go down the barrel and clean out the barrel. We use brass brushes because brass brushes will not scratch the surface of the AR, but will take off the carbon buildup or anything in there that you need to get taken off. Second, you would need this little tip, which, if you can see here, looks more like a knitting needle with a thing. And then, as you saw, I put either this kind of patch in here, and we'll get into this, show you exactly where you use this, but I'm just trying to show you where you can get in there and wipe out all the gunk and oil after you scrub with the brush. These patches look like this, made by Hops. Like, again, I said you can use a t-shirt. If you wanted to make it simple, you can buy full kits, right? This one is for a 22 caliber pistol, but there's ones for ARs and shotguns and so on and so on and so on. But essentially, this has the charging cleaning handle, and then you got the oils and bore cleaner and little bits and stuff like that, and probably color some patches as well. Or there is things like bore snakes as well, which get into the barrel. Basically, it's like a snake. You shove it down there and you just pull. It cleans it right on out. Really nice option. You also will need a nylon brush and possibly a brass brush as well. If you want to go on the cheaper side, you could use an old toothbrush you're ready to throw away. Don't throw those toothbrushes away, they're valuable. You can use this to scrub 99% of the gun, and where you need carbon buildup, you can just get an old brass brush. These two brushes came together in a kit. They were, I don't know, $5 or something like that. You get two brushes, a nylon brush, and maybe a couple plastic picks, I think, if I remember right. But, you're going to want a brass brush and you're going to want a nylon brush. That nylon brush can be anything from as a toothbrush. So, as you can see, those are kind of the thing. And then you're going to want some sort of punch, especially in the beginning with a new AR and possibly, a nylon hammer. These two really aren't required. But they will make your life easier, especially when it's a new gun, and I'll show you here in about 2 seconds. So that's the general need of what you want from a tools perspective. And so once you figure that out, in my blog post, I talk about whether you want to buy them individually, you get it from home, or there's different kit options. And then there's also different lube options, which we'll talk about in a second, but the blog has more content around that. for you to get kind of a better idea. Like in there, if you have any questions, our email address is in there as well. You can ask questions. We're happy to follow up on any additional questions after this. Step 2. What is step 2? So step 2, now that you're ready to clean, you've got all your tools together, you're ready to go. First thing you need to do is what? Make sure that it's not loaded. So you pick it up, pull it back, double check the chamber, stick your finger in there, make sure there's no bullet in there, take the mag out, no mag, you're ready to go. So you're ready to go now. So this thing is empty, ready to roll. We've got it pointed in a safe direction, and we're ready to do and get everything done. So once your AR is cleared, they call it, now it's time to separate the upper from the lower. And this is really one of maybe 4 different things that you need to do. So here's where the punch, this little tool right here, this could be a wood dowel, a nylon dowel, this could be a nylon punch. Preferably you want something that's not metal, because you could strike the thinner surface. But you see there's 2 pins right here, one there and one here. When the gun is used, you usually can just push with your thumb in and then get it out, and that's pulled, right? That's called the takedown pin, and this front one right here is called the pivot pin. See how it pivots there, right? So in a field strip mode, this is perfect, right? That's all you need. So this front pin is a little tough. So what I'm going to do is take this little punch, I'm going to lightly put it on there, and then I'm just going to tap just a little bit, as you can just see. And then now that pin is out. Look at that. Now we're separated. This is your lower and your trigger firing group in there. We're going to put that aside for right now because that is the easiest part to clean. Now what you want to do is you're going to want to separate your charging handle and your bolt carrier group. They call it the BCG from your upper. That's as simple as that. There's your bolt carrier group. There's your charging handle. And then that's it right there. That's pretty much for the most part. There's only one other part we'll talk about here. But once you get these all apart, now it's time to clean. You've removed your charging hand, you removed your bolt. Now what you're going to want to do is I'm going to put this away here real quick. And then I'm going to show you how to take this apart. This really all comes apart with one pin. There's called a fire and retaining pin right there in that little hole. You just grab it. You just pull it out. Really, if you're familiar with the term cotter pin, that's all that is. Once that pin goes out, firing pin comes out. See this little cam pin right there? All you got to do is turn that 90 degrees. That pops out. Now your bolt comes out. Now you're pretty much taken apart. So there's one other part, the extractor right here. There's a little pin. You see that little hole right there? That's a pin. That pin will come out and that extractor will come out. I'm not going to do that for this video. That's not something that you would do every single time. And in reality, if you want to get up in there, you can put a Q-tip or some kind of brush in there and get it out. As simple as that. So I'm not going to cover that. It is in the blog post, but I'm not covering that. So once you've gotten that taken apart, you're all set now. You're ready to start cleaning. So let's talk about that. One other thing. Let's go with the lower. This is the easiest part. Now, there is a, what did I do in my punch? There is a, what they call a buffer and buffer spring in there. You're going to want to take that out, wipe that down with the rag. I recommend no oil in this, and then, you can put a rag down in there. And then as far as the trigger goes, you can pull the trigger. Just make sure you put your thumb on there and ride it so it doesn't slam. This is where it will break. And then you can just get in there with a rag, a Q-tip, or whatever. In reality, there's not going to be a whole lot of dirt in here. There'll be some in here because this is where your bullets are fed up. But you're not going to spend a whole lot of time on this. So in the net, I'm just going to go ahead and put this back in. So you wiped it down, you cleaned it down, took you about 3 minutes, great, 4 minutes, whatever. And then you just put that back in, and now that's back together. So let's put this away for a second, because I'm trying to run on time here, so I'm moving quickly. Now, this is where we're talking about cleaning this. So you're going to want to get into this space right here. This is where you're going to want to take a toothbrush, a nylon brush, you scrub in there, you get in there, put a whole bunch of oil. Right now I'm using Frog Lube. It's a non-toxic. I actually can spray this in my mouth. It smells minty, smells good, but it's non-toxic, right? So normally I would tell you to put on gloves, but I'm not working with any oil, so I'm not. But you would want a pair of latex gloves or non-latex gloves if you're allergic to it. Some of these oils that you'll be using with can be toxic over time, so you just want to make sure that you're covered. But once you scrub it all this out and you get this all clean, scrub the outside, oil it up good, you wipe it down clean. You leave no oil. If you get it all off, the goal is not to leave oil on it. The goal is to get all the oil off of it, because if you think about it, oil can be your enemy in a lot of cases. Why? Because if you leave too much oil on there, it tends to collect carbon, and it tends to collect the gunpowder blast, and it tends all that stuff that's going on in there. It tends to collect that, and so what happens is it increases your buildup over time. So one other recommendation. So now you're ready to clean. We've cleaned the inside. Now we're ready to clean the barrel. There's two ways to go to the barrel. You can go in this way, or you can go in that way. Think about it. If you go in this way, you're going to push all the dirt back into the area you just cleaned, or you're going to make that much harder to clean. So we recommend that you go out this way. And all you do is you take that little brass brush, put it on here, get it in there, scrub it out really good. Once you've got a good feeling you got it clean, now you take this with this little rag. This could be a piece of t-shirt. This could be a piece of paper towel. Could be anything. Now you're going in and you're getting all that gunk and oil out of there. First couple patches I use, I'll put a couple drops of oil on it. Take it out. Get another one. Get another one. I will do that until there is no more black stuff coming off on that. You can also look down the barrel so you know it's safe. You can look down the barrel and you'll be able to tell there'll be a shiny, cleany coat. Now that you've done that, you clean the upper and you've cleaned the lower, let's go to the BCG. So basically what you do now is you take this BCG, scrub it down, get it all oily, get up in there, scrub it up inside there, get inside this gas key with the Q-tip, scrub it down. Make sure you scrub it down. Probably in this little area right here is where you're going to get the most carbon buildup. This is where you're probably going to want to use a brass brush and get in there when needed. Same with this firing pin. You're going to get some buildup right around this ring right here a lot of times. And you're going to want to get in there and fire pin, scrub it clean, do it done. Cam pin, cotter pin, done. Your charging handle, scrub it, clean it. Now you've gone through everything. You've wiped it all down. Now let's put this thing back together. You ready? Grab the BCG. We'll start with that. You're going to stick that bolt, they call it, into here. And you're going to see right here, you see that little button right there? That's the actual push pin that pops out the bullet. That sucker is going to sit at about 4 o'clock. And when you look at 4 o'clock, when you see that at 4 o'clock where it is kind of now, you're also going to see that hole right there. So if you see, if I turn it, that hole goes away. So there's two sides to that hole. It will not go in if that thing is sitting at 11 o'clock. So you got to make sure that little button's at 4 o'clock. Get it at 4 o'clock. Once you do that, that cam pin that you pulled out will drop right on in. See? Now, you can take that and you can take your firing pin, put that in. Oh, you got to turn the cam pin 90 degrees, and then see how that just dropped right on in? Now that that's dropped in, you find your firing pin retaining pin. It's so hard to say. And you remember that little hole where we pulled it out of? It's just reverse order. You put that thing in. Sometimes you got to wiggle that in, and now it's in. See? BCG's back together. Now, let's get it back together. You've got your upper and your barrel. You got your charging handle. Slides right on in. There's a little groove in there. You see these little notches right there? There's actually little notches inside here. It's hard for you to see, but now that's in. One thing about your bolt carrier group, that bolt has to be all the way out. See how it's out, in? It's got to be all the way out or it won't go in. Just slide it on in. Boom. I mean, how simple can you get? Now you've got that. The gun is ready to go. One thing you want to make sure is the trigger is down. Put it on safe just so it doesn't pop up. Take two. This goes in onto the pivot pin. This goes into the retaining pin. And this should just go back in now. Boom. So we're all set. Make sure it's not loaded. Now you're going to want to fire check. It's on safe, you remember, I put it on safe. If I pull that pin and it fires, I'm in trouble. Nope, it's perfect, right? Now I'm going to put it on fire. It should fire. Perfect. Gun is clean. That's it. apart. I told you how to take it apart. I told you what parts to take apart. As you can see, it was just 2 pivot pins, 1 firing pin, retaining pin. Everything came out. Cleaned it, scrubbed it down. Boom, done. It's simple. Just a couple moves there to get it done. So that is our cleaning. That's how you clean an AR. Listen, I know I went really quick because I'm worried about the video time here to get this posted. I did a pretty extensive blog post. We're happy to answer any questions. Listen, we really appreciate you taking the time to listen to this. Again, my name is Kurt Lieberman. I'm the owner of Tar River Arms here in Wake Forest, North Carolina. We are here to educate. This blog is all about you. We want to know your questions. We want to answer your questions. And no firearm related question is off limits. I'm just waiting for the real powder keg one to come, but hasn't come yet. So if you got a question or something you want us to review, this is what it's all about. Send us an email to sales@tarriverarms.com or call us at 919-263-1110. You can message us on Facebook. We are facebook.com/tarriverarmswf, all one. And that is about it. Thank you so much for spending the time with me today, and hope you all having a great day, evening, or afternoon.